course, is Mario. He will be played by Chris Pratt. He's so cool. Mario played by Chris Pratt.
No, that's
So
not
cool.
what.
Mario, of course, is Mario. He will be played by Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that was us a year ago. What a different time we're in now that the trailer's out. Now, if you're watching this, maybe the internet has already gone to hell with memes. I have no way of knowing what with writing this script about 5 hours after the trailer was streamed. But, hear me out. The Mario movie doesn't have to mean the end of the world or anything. This might be something not just good, but amazing. I honestly think I can look past the questionable casting choices and see this movie in its fullest potential. Quick disclaimer that I do not know Mario all too well. Of course I know the characters, but I regret to say I've played about 20 minutes of Mario Maker 2 in my life, and that's about it in terms of Mario games. Post-production update. So as you see, I still have this game, and while I was looking for it, I remembered that I've also played about an hour of Luigi's Mansion 3. I should play these games more often. My family gave me these things out of the bottom of their hearts. Come to think of it, I don't use my Switch all too often. I should hate myself more. I've never been the biggest gamer, but I quite like Mario as a franchise based on the world alone. I respect, see, and admire how many people this whole saga has connected with over time. That, and whether or not I've played much Mario, I can't deny that an animated Mario movie is long overdue. Don't at me on that front, you and I both know it. I don't even care who's behind this movie, but I am gonna take a minute or two to talk about the movie's production up till now. But if you don't care about it, skip to this time frame. Regardless of how the film turns out, though good I hope, now let's get into why the Mario movie will be revolutionary. Okay, so there's actually more to this movie's production history than I knew. Granted, that goes for a lot of movies, especially animated ones, but I digress. I'm just gonna give a mostly oversimplified version of it all. In 2014, hacker group Guardians of Peace leaked a large amount of confidential data from Sony Pictures in an event we've come to know as the Sony hack. Among that data, emails showing that Sony Pictures Animation had spent years trying to secure the rights to a Mario movie. They actually made some progress, like going to Nintendo in Tokyo in an attempt to seal the deal, and suggesting that Hotel Transylvania director Genndy Tartakovsky be put in charge of the project. However, what wasn't considered in all this time was that Sony's video game department, Sony Interactive, was one of Nintendo's big rival companies. They're like Peter and the Giant Chicken. I assume that's what happens. So yeah, that would've gotten ugly. Let me set the stage again. It's now 2016, and Nintendo is working with Universal Studios Hollywood in Japan to bring Super Nintendo World to the parks. Miyamoto meets Chris Meledandri, founder, president, and CEO of Illumination Entertainment, who you may know as the movie studio that doubles as a metaphor for capitalism. And for some reason, Miyamoto saw potential in this company? No, it's fine. I don't hold anything against Meledandri or Miyamoto. Basically, they got to know each other and eventually started talking about putting the rights to the Mario movie in Illumination's hands. Rumors came up towards the end of 2017 that Illumination was making the movie, and in January of 2018, the deal was officially on, with the movie set to release Christmas 2022. And that was all we knew. For years. Like, literally. We got no news on the movie until last year. Most of us just thought it was cancelled, we heard so little about it. And then, during the 2021 Nintendo Direct, they bring the movie back up, and apparently the release date never changed. Oh, and they announced the cast. And we all know how that went. Everyone was now dreading the thought of hearing Chris Pratt's voice out of Super Mario's mouth. I like Chris Pratt, don't get me wrong, but I can't deny how unfathomably off-putting that sounds. But hey, at least we now know it's still happening. Still, the movie was kept very secret. Even Charlie Day, the voice of Luigi, admitted to knowing almost nothing about all the recordings he did. Less than a year before the movie's intended release, by the way. All things considered, the film probably wouldn't have been ready for the time. So inevitably it was delayed. From December 21st, 2022 to April 7th, 2023. For the best, of course. A couple weeks before New York Comic Con 2022, we get a post from Nintendo. The Mario movie's first trailer would release on October 6th, 2022 at 4 p.m. Which brings us to now. This was the big part of the problem. Most of the casting, while it sounds ridiculous, I can at least imagine. For example, Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Jack Black as Bowser, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Those all sound unprecedented to say the least. But Chris Pratt, despite being a good actor in my opinion, is the last guy I think any of us expected to play Mario. And having such a highly questionable role for your lead is kind of a big deal. It's the casting that I've seen the most amount of memes on, the most amount of complaints on. And after watching the trailer a couple of times, I get the feeling that this is indeed going to be the thing that prevents a lot of people from liking this movie. Or at least from taking it seriously. Either way, I don't really want this movie to take itself so seriously, but this could be weird. It's safe to say after a couple of rewatches that Pratt isn't throwing his voice in the trailer. Not much anyway. Honestly, voice acting is more crucial than a lot of people realize. Sometimes, actually, scratch that. Often, the voice acting can make or break an animated project. Sometimes a character really gets under your skin if they have an annoying voice. Sometimes if a character is cliched, but the voice just fits so perfectly with that cliche, you grow to like the character as a result. And sometimes the vocal performance alone is just chef's kiss, so fitting. This just sounded wrong. Not Chris Pratt's voice, but the announcement that Pratt was the voice of Mario. Conceptually, that just sounded so batcrap nuts. I get the feeling that if Nintendo didn't announce the cast before any other details, we would have all just watched the trailer and been like, wait, is that Chris Pratt? Oh my god, it is! The internet was ruffling over the news in sheer disbelief. Unfortunately, some people even directed hate towards Chris Pratt. I won't lie, I didn't think it sounded real either. All we could do was wonder what this movie entailed. It just was a countdown till doomsday, until we actually heard this voice. I was just as worried as the next guy. But, and this might not sound true at first, Mario's design helps a bit. The wrinkles on his clothes and skin, the extra detail on his hair, and just generally more human feel to it than game Mario, but not so much to where it was an ugly Sonic situation, makes this?
What is this place?
Sound a lot better than this.
Introducing the double-decker couch, so everyone could watch TV together and be buddies.
It kinda sucks that Chris Pratt's voice work displayed here is so concerning. It's not really a lot to go off of anyway. I'm gonna need to hear it in action more, because, low-key, it's actually kind of the only thing wrong with this preview. I mean no irony, sarcasm, hyperbole, or exaggeration when I say this trailer is otherwise fantastic. I have high hopes for this movie, even if it's from... Fine, I'll talk about Illumination. You know them, you either hate them or think nothing of them, Illumination Entertainment. Of course, as a kid, I liked their movies, but their tactic wore off pretty fast. Appeal to the lowest common denominator, play it safe, never go the extra mile, all that matters is that the movie brings in a pretty penny, rely on what makes the most money, release films in the summertime so kids are out of school and begging parents to do stuff, wait till the marketable holiday season for DVD sales. It's all about building a throne out of money. But I'm almost certain this is going to be different. Oftentimes when a studio has such an infamous reputation, you forget how young they are. Illumination has only been around for 12 years and only made 12 movies. Their repertoire really only consists of the Despicable Me franchise, including the Minions duology at the time, the Secret Life of Pets movies, the Sing movies, a couple of Dr. Seuss adaptations, and whatever the heck Hop was. This is going to be something new. And while the trailer doesn't really show a lot, I think it's evident that it doesn't matter who's the head. Right off the bat, I'm not going to worry about excessive Minion jokes, or filler that doesn't entertain anyone over the age of 10, or just general fluff to reach 80 minutes. I mean, this isn't another Minion movie. By the way, honestly I don't hate the Minions, there's just too much of them sometimes. There will definitely be a Minion in Illumination's logo, and truly I'm excited to see what Mario related thing the Minion does in that logo ID. The Mario movie will be its own thing. Illumination is finally taking a risk. They've obviously never done this before. Judging by where Illumination has been recently and where they're headed, as well as animation in general for that matter, I have a lot of hope. Gone are the days where they just push out the cinematic equivalent of baby food, except Despicable Me 4 coming in 2024. Paul Dondry himself has actually alluded to trying new things, talking about how you can't be willing to have everyone pleased. They've announced some other different movies, they've started working with Mike Moon to make adult animation, and I'm going to admit it, I liked Rise of Gru. It wasn't great, but I was pleasantly surprised that it had more substance going for it. This studio's redemption arc is slowly getting underway, and the Mario movie is the next step. So, with all the cards on the table, the day came. We braced ourselves for the trailer to be upon us. We made sure to set the clocks, and before we knew it, it was October 6th. Without further ado, this is where I talk about the trailer. Hundreds of thousands of people tuned in. We had a beginning message from Miyamoto, then from Chris Pratt and Jack Black, cast as Mario and Bowser respectively. Then, it began. Nicely enough, it was off to a good start. The first thing anyone with good eyeballs noticed, the animation and visuals were very good looking. It looks great for this day and age, while also not straying far from the Nintendo Switch level graphics that the games are at right now. Bowser made an entrance in all his glory, with Jack Black doing a great job. There's then an army of penguins from Mario 64, someone fill me in the comments. Bowser gets a hold of the star, asking in all his villainous glory who's gonna stop him. Cut to Mario winding up in the Mushroom Kingdom. Looks like we're doing an origin story, people. Getting a sense that this might be the start of a film series. He gazes around, confused, and as he does so, we hear Pratt's voice work. I wish I could say I was surprised. Don't get me wrong, this is kinda jarring, but after a year of memes, I came to expect what I heard. I can't say it sounds really good or bad, but it definitely isn't much of a Mario voice. Not what the trailer displays anyway. Weirdly, I'm disappointed that I got exactly what I thought I would. This trailer almost definitely isn't the last, so I'm sure we'll hear more of the voice acting. I had almost hoped to lose my mind when I heard Mario's voice, but here we are. Then Toad pops up, leads the way, it cuts to a quick scene of Luigi running, and scene. I gotta say, this doesn't look half bad. The animation, the colors, the voice acting, and the future promise for that matter. I'm excited to see the other characters speak, the Mushroom Kingdom on the big screen, everything. I have a feeling this movie will be either unironically really good, or just turn out to be a magnificent train wreck. On the other hand, there's a lot of promise in the trailer and poster alone, which I already talked about. Like I said, the voice acting can make or break the entire thing. It does permeate the whole duration, so this could go very wrong. If the movie does indeed take itself seriously while giving us this,
You don't have to be the bad guy.
it would technically fail at what it was trying to do. I wouldn't take it seriously. So, if I can't enjoy this movie the way I'm supposed to, how am I supposed to enjoy it? Ironically, that's how. I can always laugh just because the whole thing turns out to be such a mess, and because through it all I'm not supposed to find that stupid. That just makes the whole situation that much funnier. That's a downside though. Regardless of whether the movie is actually good or unironically good, I'll probably be disappointed that only one of those two things can happen. I love watching disasters unfold on screen, but those kinds of movies are only enjoyable until you look deeper into them. And as someone with a critical eye for that sort of thing, it causes me to realize that the movie isn't really good. I end up wondering what I was smoking when I liked it, even if I don't know why I had a good time in the first place. Sometimes it makes me miss the time where I was able to have fun with it. It almost yucks my yum to an extent. Although, as I said, I do like to watch movies with stories that go disastrously wrong, in a fun way. And for a year now, I've wanted to see the ridiculousness of an all-star cast playing the most iconic video game characters of all time. It would be messy, but fun. A movie I could just turn off my brain, shut up, and consume it. That could be awesome to watch in its own way, if only a couple times. So as great as a genuinely good Mario movie with Illumination producing and Chris Pratt as the lead role would be, I'd almost be upset if it wasn't a beautiful mess. Granted, I'd still feel that way if it was a beautiful mess. Either way, I think this very well could be Illumination's best movie, at least. They're still trying new things, the trailer doesn't make the movie look boring, and even if it's bad, I would still like it more than most of Illumination's library. As Joe Apocalypse once said, sometimes a bad movie is better than a boring one. And he's totally right. Oftentimes, a bad movie at least dares to take risk. They ultimately just have more entertainment value. Bore is little substance, but that is at least something. And no matter what I think of this movie, I'm excited and glad that this is the start of Nintendo Pictures. I really want to see what Nintendo does with a movie studio, even if they don't use it often. And I can't think of a better way to kick things off than with Mario. You know, the face of Nintendo and arguably video games as a medium. I think I've said all I need to. And all I can about a 2-minute trailer, holy crap. I've definitely proved that this movie will be the start of something new, good or bad. And no matter what, I'll continue to push it that this movie has immense potential, regardless of who it's from, who's on board, or what it's been through. Big things are coming, boys. But that's about it for today. Tell me your thoughts on the trailer in the comments if you'd like. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, and have a great rest of your day.